What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to work on the CRX a little bit, and I also kind of want to work on the red one. I got a couple packages in the mail that allow me to work on the car a little bit. Still not the main piece that I need to button up the stuff under the intake manifold, so it's going to be a little while before we put the intake manifold on, because I don't know what it is with JHP USA. My stuff is still not here, and it's been like 17 days. We got this yesterday. I picked this up the other day. Got this from the P.O. box yesterday as well. And what we're going to be doing with the silver car is installing the engine harness. And like I've mentioned before, I'm trying to work on this car in the order that I'm trying to do it in, and that is pretty much needing my AC power steering delete bracket kit so we can put the alternator on, right? Then the harness, still waiting for my gasket to come in, and then the intake manifold can go on and we can button up the rest of the things. Now I can install the harness and just kind of leave it dangling for the alternator, and I can probably build my charge harness as well too and kind of get that all routed in place. If you guys don't know who Fox Design is, be sure to give them a follow on Instagram. Fox Design has been supporting the channel for a very long time, and I've always had his sticker on my toolbox as well as the new backboard right here. And he reached out to me and he wanted to give me a sticker that's kind of like the icing on the cake for the car, and we kind of worked out a few different designs. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this and show you guys what he came up with. So check this out. We worked out a sick ass custom sticker for the center garnish on the back of the car. Instead of saying CRX, it says KRX. That's freaking awesome, because I do have this spare center garnish right here from the set that I was selling, and I'm no longer selling it because the other tail end, the passenger side, I dropped it and it shattered the whole corner over here on the passenger side, so that's been in the trash. But I have this guy right here, right, without the center logo, and I think the KRX sticker is going to look dope and pretty much top off the car once it's all said and done. And he made it to about, nope, that is the same exact size, and he threw the special edition in there as well too, so that's freaking awesome, because you know this ain't no regular CRX, right? It's a K-swap car. You guys already know foxdesign.etc.com. Be sure to check it out. So I'm going to install this hose right here. If you guys remembered, I did remove the heater box from the car, right? And I want to loop the heater hoses from the head to the block. Those two pipes right here at the bottom. And I could, you know, buy the block off plug, plug it up, get rid of the pipe, and then cap that one off. But I'm leaving this here just because, one, it's under the manifold. If I ever want to run heater back on, I do have all the heater control stuff I can throw back into the car. This would already be here for the hoses. But this is how it is looped up in my wagon for a couple of years, so I don't have issues with running this as long as it's nice and tight. We're not going to worry about it slipping off, popping off, or whatever the case is. So this hose right here is two different sizes. It's a 19 mil on one side and then 21 mil on the other side. And if you notice, this pipe right here is bigger than the other guy, so 21, 19. This is a random part that I got from the auto parts store. I needed a U-bend and I needed it in two sizes. That's the part number right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of put this on, trim it down a little bit because it sticks out pretty far, and then secure it into place. You guys are probably wondering why I'm using a scissor. It's because this is an industrial scissor, and cuts like butter, baby. Like butter. So this time around, guys, I am going to be using a stock 0204 Rsx Harness. This is a Type S to be exact, because we have the reverse lockout plug right here for the 6-speed trans. I'm going to be taking all the plastic off so I can clean them all up, and if I have electrical tape, I'm probably going to relume all of this to make it look nice and clean. I just want to freshen up this harness, and when you're using this harness 0204 Type S, you still have to get a conversion harness to adapt to your chassis for plugs and sensors, and also the conversion harness gives you that third plug you're going to need for your ECU, and I have that here. I'll show you guys that in a second, but first let's clean this up.
I've never done this before, but you know what?
It is time I learn how to take off this plastic cover. And there are a lot of freaking tabs. Interesting.
As far as electronic is where I get all my electronic stuff, electrical stuff that people don't even know that Fire Electronic even carried.
Yeah. I was looking at the bottom of the harness where these two plugs went to, which connects to the charge harness. I need to run that charge harness if I'm running a stock Rsx harness, because this guy right here connects to the charge harness here, which has the plugs for the freaking alternator. So I have to run this. So this plastic right here clips on like so. Even though the clip's not working, that kind of places the harness kind of in their home locations, right? Coil pack goes over to the valve cover. I'm gonna assume that's where it goes. You got the reverse ECT, which is actually on the bottom right there. VSS goes in the back. This one right here has to come backward. Reverse lockout solenoid right here. This part right here sticks up really high. I might have to cut this plastic so that way I can bend the harness pointing downward and then routing into the car. I'm not going to do that just yet. All of this right here goes to the throttle body, which probably not going to plug up since I'm using a B series map and a B series TPS sensor. This is IAT sensor right here, so that's going to go somewhere in the intake. This guy right here is on the bottom because it goes to either air control valve. Probably not going to have that as well too. This guy right here is going to loop over, which goes to all of the injectors, and the only other two plug would be these guys down here, which plugs to the charge harness. Big guy right here for alternator, and then the small guy right here for starter signal. The coil packs, which bolts up to the valve cover right there. Right, coming down to this side, we have Vtec pressure switch right there. This guy right here, I believe, is Vtec solenoid. This one right here, going down, we have oil pressure sensor, which is under the Vtec solenoid. Put a little grommet over the sensor. This guy right here is VTC, I think. And then the last one right here, this blue one, goes all the way down near the crank over there to plug up to the crank sensor. And I don't know if I have a sensor down there. We lost some daylight here. I was chilling with my buddy Joaquin. Joaquin has an all-wheel drive car that's been putting in a lot of work, and I'm actually going to be opening up one of his transmission here soon so we can reinforce the shift fork and really find out what's going on with first and second gear. But he dropped off the transmission for me. He just left a little while ago. Joe just left. My cousin just went to the store. We were just chilling here grilling up some shrimp and freaking mussel. So we were doing that just a minute ago. But right now, I was looking at the engine harness, and I kind of don't like the way that's chilling right there. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably pull off the harness a little bit later, and I'm going to take off the plastic, and then I'm gonna go buy electrical tape and really clean it up. Probably not even electrical tape. I'll probably even do like the fishnet, fish loom thing, you know, that the mil spec harness come in, but probably not, because probably can't even fit it through all of the plugs. So I definitely want to clean that up because I don't want this thing to be chilling the way it is. And other than that, I just threw the manifold on and just verified that this piece looks pretty ugly sitting there. So probably gonna remove that, loom it all up too, so it's more, you know, more sleek on the intake manifold. But aside from that, I think that's all I'm gonna do as far as the harness today. Before we end today's session, we got this package right here. So when you're using the stock 0204 R6 Type S 5-speed, I don't know about EP3s, but when you're using a stock harness, just like a tuck harness, you still need a conversion harness, and that is what we have right here. Yo, big shout out to CJS Wiring, Carlos. He is the guy that I rock like all my harnesses from. This car, that car, this car, that car, not that car. I've been supporting him since the good old Tech days. That's how long it's been. Tech days. Tech forum has been gone forever, and even off Tech, I still support him. Under the hood of this car, I have the original CJS Wiring logo, as well as my ECU. You can see it right there, CJS Wiring. And I hit him up. I said, hey, I need a conversion harness. How soon can you get it to me? Now, granted, he is super packed with orders. He is a one-man soldier, and he's trying his best to fulfill all his order, but he was able to squeeze me in, and he got me a conversion harness to my house in no time. So the reason why I didn't run this inside the car yet is because I want to show you guys this. So the end of this harness has 2 ECU plugs, and it has this like chassis adapter to pull other plugs or signal from. I don't 100% know what the functions of all of these wires are, but so when you buy a conversion harness for the stock harness or a tuck harness, it comes with the other end of the plug right here, and this draws all the signals and everything from the harness, like all the sensors and stuff that it needs to get signal from, and pretty much that plugs in there. Now the thing about the conversion harness is it comes with the 3rd ECU plug right here, so that will, you know, obviously run your ECU, right? The other end of the conversion harness plugs into the chassis, and this is chassis specific. So this car is an SI. The SI has a plug right here that normally sits on the tower, which is now under the dashboard, and this plugs up there. If I remember correctly, like this pulls signal as far as reverse light switch goes, because, you know, green and yellow, and then, you know, whatever other sensor this guy right here pulls as well too. Back in the days, these used to be loose wires where you have to like splice in, you know, like connecting to the ECU chassis side of the harness, but nowadays, especially CJS, because I just installed this on Tiger's car the other day that didn't have this plug, but CJS wiring is 100% plug and play. This will plug straight to your ECU plugs that's currently in the car without having to splice into anything. This goes to the ECU plug, this goes to your tower plug that originally sat there, and then it comes with all these other loose ends. We have the DLC for check engine light. This right here is temp sensor, fan switch. This is what you're gonna need when you put a K in your car, because typically these guys are on the radiator on a K-swap car, and ours aren't, so we have to integrate it some way, somehow. And then this guy down here is for, I believe, the O2 sensor. Yeah, AF, air-free ratio. A K-series oxygen sensor is its own built-in AFR sensor. So this is for the O2 sensor, and that's pretty much it. So the plug that goes into the chassis is specific. And this car is an SI, so we have this little square plug right here that plugs to the SI cabin harness, right? If your car's a DX, this is a different plug. It'll be circular, and it goes to the driver's side tower, and plugs over there for the signals. And then the brown plug plugs in the same between the DX and the SI. You guys probably won't have this if it's like an EG chassis plus. So the other plugs that I was talking about that goes to the ECU is right here. That's plugged up right there and right here. And then the other plug that goes to the stock engine harness is plugged in here. We have our 3rd ECU plug right there with the other 2 right here. That's going to go into the ECU together. And then we have the DLC scan port, which I kind of tucked away up here somewhere. And then these 2 guys right here are going to go back into the engine bay. One is for the O2 sensor, and then this guy right here is for the fan switch and the temp switch. So when we get a sensor for these guys, we'll hook these up. But for right now, I'm probably just gonna let them chill here until we get to it. But aside from that, that's pretty much CJS wiring, 100% plug and play K-series conversion harness. If you guys want to get one for your stock harness on your K-swap car, be sure to go ahead and link in the description below and place in your orders. But please, mind you guys, be patient. Quality takes time, and the man does quality work as a one-man soldier. So guys, it's the next day, and I just got home actually. I'm probably gonna push the car out, move it over there, move the CRX up, because I want to modify the exhaust system so it can be a little bit quieter, so I can drive a little bit more in peace. Or maybe I should just stay under 5,000 RPMs. Okay guys, so I got the cars switched up right here on the driveway, and I must tell you, the CRX is a lot heavier with the motor in it now. I can't push it like a feather no more. But anyways, I went to my buddy Kel's house, and he was like, yo, is that your car coming down the street? I'm like, unfortunately, yes. That was me coming down the street. And he heard me because this car is freaking loud, and today I want to try to add a resonator. Now, I'm looking at the piping on the car, right? I think it's 2 1/4. I think this whole time I thought it was 2 1/2, because this is 2 1/2. And it is way bigger than what's on my car. So this was given to me from Kel at Kelly Built, and it's a cherry bomb. Now this is supposed to quiet your car down, supposed to. And the thing about resonator is the bigger the better. So this is like a 20, it's like a freaking 22 or something, and I'm hoping that this is going to quiet the CRX down a little bit more, so we're not droning, we're not sounding all raspy, we're not annoying everybody in the neighborhood when I'm coming down the block. I'm going to show you guys underneath the car. I haven't even looked under here yet, but I kind of want to show you guys, I guess, everything that I fabricated under here, and how everything is after thousands of miles. And man, it's crazy to say that I did all this over a 1.5 years ago, and the car still drives every day. I don't have any issues with it other than the exhaust rubbing on the axle over there, if you can see, right? But all of these like grease is from the old axles that was torn. This one seems to be holding up well. No crazy major leaks from the diff. The bar is still looking nice and solid, right? Nothing out of the norm. Now the only one that's messed up is this guy right here, because when we went to the dyno, this viscous coupler hangs pretty low. So what had happened was, when we drove it up on the dyno, it caught, I believe, right here in the front, and it tore this mount out of the floorboard. And I've been meaning to like reinforce this anyways. Like, I want to plate it how I did the wagon. So for the time being of that night, we kind of just like welded it all up to ensure we still have that 4th mounting point. So all of this, we'll address it when we get to it, because I really hate to do this underneath the car like this. And hopefully one of these days I'm gonna have access to a lift to you know, redo all of this. But I want to put my resonator wherever it has room. I can't do it here because this is an angle. Like, I had to aim it up, and the reason why I had to aim this part down to begin with is because it is really close up here, right? So it angles down, and then there's a slice right here that angles it back upward to kind of get ground clearance. And I guess the only room I can put a straight shot would be up in the front right here. And I'm hoping, crossing fingers, that we have enough gap to fit the bottleneck resonator through here and not rub up on the drive shaft. So I think that's the only reasonable spot that I could put a resonator on. Crazy to say, that cherry bomb actually fits. I trimmed the front of this guy right here, right? You can see it was longer, like 2 inches, and I trimmed it down to about 1 inch so I can kick the bottleneck more further up to get away from this guy. And this is in the flange, right? No gaps. And obviously this is a bigger inner diameter than this guy, like I've mentioned. And it's crazy to think that this little puny exhaust, I made 452, 25 pounds of boost. And the only issue I had with this piping was it being kind of congested. Like, it wouldn't build full boost until 5,000 plus on a small turbo because of how small this pipe is. But you can see the difference. This is 2.5. And if I center it, right, put some slash in it, or bang it in a little bit and close the gap a little bit more so I'm not booger welding it, it actually clears the viscous coupler. So I'm gonna hold it center, about yay. You can see all the gaps, looking good, looking good. That's awesome. And it doesn't hang as low, so that's even better. Man, she is dogging Lucy. That's Meow Meow's baby mama. Yeah. Man, talk about ground clearance with the K-Series. You don't even see the header on the floor. So it's a rare occasion that I finish a task before the sun goes down. So I'm gonna show you guys here underneath the car. I reinstalled the mid pipe, and I'm super pumped that we have all this clearance. You guys can see nothing is touching. I think you can see this, but a lot of gap, and didn't have to modify the front half at all, and pretty firm in a place, not touching anything. I'm excited to see how this sounds like. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the car back on the floor, guys. I'm gonna turn it on. Huh. Sounds the same. The raspiness is gone. That's good. I think that's going to conclude this video, guys. I got to work on the silver CRX a little bit. We got the harness installed. Got to modify it a little bit when I have the chance to, and when I have the materials too. Got to work on the all-wheel drive CRX a little bit. We got it to tone down a little bit. The raspiness is gone. Still a little loud, but I was okay with it before. I just didn't like the rasp. The rasp is gone now, and I'm perfectly fine with the deep tone that it now has. You guys know I've said this plenty of times before. Progress is better than no progress. I am still waiting for my shipment to come in, and you know, I'm still finding things to do with the car. Maybe if the package don't come this week, I'll go and buy the wheel bearings, the ball joints, and we can get down with the suspension stuff on the car and just kind of button that up in the meantime. If you guys enjoy a smudge of this video's progress, be sure to hit the like button. And if you guys want to stick around for an EJ1 coupe, because it's coming here in a couple of days for a lot of fabrication, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Enjoy these clips, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.